Hello, World Tank Blitzers. It's Littlefinger. Happy Friday, May 27th. We've got a long weekend. School's out. The average IQ of the Blitz player just dropped in half overnight. A lot of things to be excited for. Before I do get into the store, though, I do want to just do a little quick summary on the battle passes. This is the first month that they dropped the number of levels from 80 to 60. They put the separate section in here for the missions, so you now have got personal, battle pass, and clan missions, and allowed you to double up on completing missions on overlapping weeks, which allowed me to complete all 60 levels about halfway through the month, which was nice because then I didn't have to worry about getting on and grinding all the missions every day. So I liked that. The downside was that the number of missions adds up to being one short of getting a second operation container. I thought that was a little bit cheap. Perhaps maybe they should have knocked this down so that we could open 2 or 3 of those containers if you're someone like myself that completed every single mission. But outside of that, I do think that this is still a good deal for the amount of gold and the tanks that you get out of it and all of the extras. So, yeah, we've got the E75 TS pulled up, and I just want you to look at the superstructure on this tank and that kind of spaced armor on the side. And I want you to also look at the lava and the turret on this thing, that giant gun mantlet, rounded. Why? Well, because when we jump into the store, we have a new tank for sale. It is the Keiler. All right. So one crate, 1,000 gold. So if you buy this bundle here, it works out to be 400 gold per dollar, which is not the best way to get gold. And we'll show you some other ways to get more gold per dollar than that. And you can then use these offers here to buy your crates instead. Now, 4% drop chance, no charms. You know, you'll get some of this other stuff if you don't get the tank. Here's the tank. Looks pretty neat. You can see E75 TS on the body there. And the rounded, it's not exactly like the lava, but you can see just a giant mantlet. And just want to run through some of the stats on it so that you had an idea of comparing the two. So the E 75 TS, 2200 average damage, whereas this is only coming in just a tick over 2000. A little bit more pen at 225, and it has higher damage at 350 versus 310 on both the Lova and the E75. So don't have to be as exposed as often. And we know that the E75 has some weak spots, especially around this front drive wheel. The aim time and whatnot is very much the same. Really not much difference. E75, it's the same gun, essentially. Now, the difference comes in with your speed. 40 kilometers per hour versus 38 on the E75 and 35 on the Lova. But the difference there is your power to weight ratio, 12 on the Keiler, 10 on the E75, and 9.5 on the Lova, which means you're going to get up to your top speed that much faster. The Keiler does have a little bit faster traverse speed than the E75, so this could potentially work out to be a nice little tank because the turret armor on the front is 200, and that's rounded. You think on the E75 it was 235, but you had front angled weaker spots, in my opinion. So that roundedness of the turret could really make this thing a nice little tank to play. We'll have to see what the credit coefficient is on it. Hopefully it is close to that of the Lava, which was at 185. So it's a tank that can potentially make money. So hopefully we'll get that information shortly. We'll talk about the tanks a little bit later when we get to that section. I do want to mention here the 10-day subscription. Not a huge, not a super great value for gold by itself. It works out to be 500 gold per dollar. But when you think that you can get 40,000 free XP, and if you complete the orders that are given to you each day, you can get up to 10 collect them all containers. The only caveat here, guys, that you need to know is you have to log in every day. All right. If you don't log in and accept this and then complete your order, you're not maximizing your value on this subscription. The other thing I wanted to mention here is the M60 container. I kind of glossed over this before, but you are guaranteed 5,000 gold for $10. Another way to get 500 gold per dollar. Again, more than the crate for the Keiler at 400. So if you're interested, you could buy this option, end up with 5,000, and you have a 20% chance of getting the M60, which is a very nice tier 10 medium tank. And I think I might have alluded that it had a better than average credit coefficient. It doesn't. You're not going to make a lot of money in this tank, but you shouldn't be losing money in it either. So wanted to just clear that up. We'll talk about the tanks here in a second. Again, the resource kits here just haven't been great deals lately. I think like this one works out in the neighborhood of $4.75 per dollar. And that's because these boosters have a variable value, right? If you go in and lose every single battle, you're only getting 1,500 gold out of this. But if you win every battle at tier 10, you're getting 3,000 gold out of it. So it's hard to put a true number on that. So what I typically do is use about 15 gold, meaning that you win 50% of your battles at tier 10. And that works out to be about 475-ish for this bundle. Again, another opportunity to get more than that Keiler offer at the beginning there. So switching on down, never ever spend gold to get credit, guys. Just get your premium time and grind wins and battles. That's the best way to make credits. So let's get into the tanks because we've got some new ones here. The Saman Grenadier. This is an interesting little tank. Well, I shouldn't say little because it's a heavy French tank. It's got really nice armor from the front, but get anywhere on the sides or the back of this tank, and it's fairly, I wouldn't say weak, but it's much easier pen for a heavy tank. You've got 10 degrees of gun depression, a nice 40 kilometers per hour, and 3-shot autoloader on this thing. So reload time there of 23 seconds. So it can be challenging to play because of that really, really long reload. So if you get, 1 or 2 tanks on you for that 23 seconds, it's hard to do anything. So you really need to be map aware to play this tank well. I did, but for 10,000 gold, that is not a horrible deal, not a great deal. So it'll keep coming down. The tank is relatively new, maybe a year and a half. So this will come down for tier 8. We see that at 7,500 if you can wait. Again, jumping back up, a tank that just came out, the Lansen. I really enjoyed playing this tank. I thought the gun was super accurate. I liked the reload to damage on it, and most importantly, the mobility for a nice little medium tank, 10 degrees of gun depression, all around decent tank. Obviously, 15,000 gold or 12,500 gold is early investor pricing. So again, if you're a collector and you want to get that tank now, I don't think you'd be disappointed in it. However, the price is still really, really high. M60 for 17,500. I think that's pretty high. I'd rather probably take my chances on that crate and hope to get it out of the crate, and if not, you end up with gold. But anyway, Did talk briefly here on the Sturdy Fellows. I thought this was a nice little bundle here. I think the K91 at 10,000 is a little bit high in price. The Emil 1951, if you were to get the camo and everything, is nicely priced at 8,500. So this is still a little bit high, seeing as it comes pretty darn naked. But I really enjoy the K91. I think it's really flexible in its ability as a heavy tank, and it's got good mobility. 3-shell auto loader. The Emil 1951, again, it's not so much a heavy, classified as a heavy. The armor is not as strong, but again, good mobility, good auto loader, super accurate gun. So two little fun tanks, I think, to get bundled together here. And I don't think you're going to be disappointed with either of those two tanks if you purchase that. Double impact, they're pairing the Panther M10 and the AMX 1357. 1357, it's a difficult tank to play, guys, because it's just doesn't have it's got the 6-shell magazine, and it does very little damage, 90 damage. So it's small. It can be hard to hit, but when you've got to stay on target here for 6 seconds to unload a full clip, so it's a little bit unique in the size and the clip size, but again, tier 7, $4,500, not a horribly priced, but the Panther M10, like I've said many times, this was my first premium tank that I ever purchased. Again, there weren't as many tier 10, tier 9 premium tanks out there, and was afraid of getting wrecked at those tiers anyway. And I ended up getting wrecked in this tank when I first bought it because, I was a noob and it was my first premium tank. But it's got a nice, accurate gun. It's a little bit slow for a medium tank, and that's because it's got some good frontal armor. So you'll be able to bounce some shots more than average for a medium in this tank. But I don't like its lack of flexibility because I find it a little bit too slow, especially on the acceleration side. So 3,000, not a bad price for that, but not a great tank either. T-34-3 is nicely priced here, but really all you're doing is getting the tech tree variant with a higher credit coefficient. So it's basically exactly the same as the tech tree tank. So just keep that in mind. So I wouldn't recommend spending this unless you are a true collector. TOG, well, kind of the meme tank, everyone's got to have one, right? It's obviously known for its massive size and massive number of hit points, and its lack of mobility. They've tried to make that a little bit better. They've buffed the armor a little bit, but it's still a one-dimensional tank, and you need a good team around you in order to be able to do anything, because you just can't move in the thing. It's just too slow. But again, it's fun. You'll get your money value out of this, I think, for only 2,500 gold. The Krupp, 2,000 gold here. It's a fun little tier 5 tank. If you do play a lot of battles at tier 5, it's really not that bad of a tank. Not sure I would spend $2,000 on it, or 2,000 gold on it again, that's for sure. Because as tier 5, a lot of people just don't go back to playing tier 5s. Again, another tier 5, the M4A2E4 Sherman with 7 days of premium time, and you got some boosters here. And the only reason that I want to talk about this is for $4, you can sell this thing back for 2,350. It's my understanding you don't get credit for the wasted shot and the camo, only the 2,350. I would like to get verification on that from somebody, but let's see, I'll do the math real quick here. I had it up here. 2,350 divided by 4 works out to be 587. So that's a nice way to get some gold and get some extra boosters as well. So that's probably one of the best deals in the game right now. If you're just looking to purchase and to sell it, or if you already have it, you'll get the equivalent there back in gold. Gold, again, like we were saying here, 375 gold per dollar. So that's why we're hunting for these deals where we're getting 500 or more. Unless, of course, you've got the 2 times bonuses still left around. Esports is still here for a few more days. Make sure you get those coins. I don't think you'd be disappointed in either one of these tanks. Century Mark 51 is a great tank. And I really like the M4 FL10 with its really snappy auto loader. Like half a second between shots. So make sure you're coming in here, opening up your free containers. And yeah, that's it, guys. So nice little store this time around. Interested to see what your take is on the Keiler. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, great long weekend. Realistic modes out there. So get those tanks with some good armor that people don't know how to pen, and just have a blast with it. And of course, guys, have fun out there. Stay safe. Get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.